interview me about how we didn't start to drill me. The artist that's in front of me, I'm telling them, do what you want to do. We gonna do what we want to do, and then we're gonna force their hand. You just put the work in. It's always been about the music for me.
I gotta start with that, only because I feel like when I first of all, I feel like I heard about you before I met you in real life in the blog era. But I feel like I knew of your face and like who you were outside of the artist you were representing at the time. So like,
really,
yeah, because the blog era, I feel like, especially because I worked with True Star magazine and I also worked with Slang PR, so it was like for me, I was kind of used to being around black women that were like in charge and like they didn't take shit off nobody. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that was kind of the persona you were giving off like the entire time I knew about you. So when I heard about Tink, I was like, oh, this makes sense. That she has a manager like this. And even when I heard about Raven Lene, it was the same thing. Yeah. So it was like, I was like, okay, that's different. Because again, I think there really weren't managers in the blog era that was like represent, or at least the ones that I knew, they were like known, but they were known for kind of being shady. But you were always known for getting the business done. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I think my first question is, what was the process like being? What was that process like constantly moving in that type of energy?
So we're talking about, we're going back to like 2012, or are we going back to when I had Tink?
I think
that was two separate times. So like in 2012, when I finally kind of got into the music business, I think I was just a person that was just kind of getting my foot in the door because of who I was associated with. I was in a relationship with somebody that was heavy in the game, and we tackled so much on the ground coming up when it had to do with like different music artists. So when I put my foot on the pavement, it was more so because I was kind of just meeting different people, and I guess my demeanor just gave off like, oh, okay, well, this woman is about business, you know what I'm saying? It's the people that she's around with. I kind of had like a no-nonsense type of energy, but I'm raised from that. So that came from home. That didn't come from like outside, being outside or whatever. More so just came from how I was raised. So when I got into the music business, first off, I got into the music business because of my daughter, because of Ashley.
Ashley Banks?
Yeah. So I was part of a team called The Intervention a couple years before that, and it was a management team. So we managed different people, and what's crazy is the God MC that you all know, so he was on a management team with my brother. My brother was managing him at the time. He was going by a different name, but it's so crazy to see like where his career has been, and we started at the same exact time. So I love him dearly, and nobody knew that. Like we, Chicago is like just the affiliation with Chicago and just how so many people are and how everybody grew up and how much business was done. It's amazing to kind of see like where everything is right now. So the era of just getting different artists that I was managing, it was literally coming off of referrals. Like I never went and asked anybody to manage them. Never. It was more so people going to people like, hey, you should let such and such manage you, or y'all should have a meeting. And we would have a meeting, we would have a conversation, complete back and forth dialogue. I would hear exactly what it was that they were trying to do. I would see what they were trying to do. And then I would do my best to kind of let them know, okay, well, this is what I could do to the best of my ability at the time, because I'm still growing and still learning at the same time. And it kind of took off from there.
That's crazy, because I remember the first time I heard about Tink, it wasn't the mixtape shit. I think she was still in her freestyle era. So I think she had did I think she did a visual with Elevator.
Yeah, that was before me. That was way before me. So she was out there doing her stuff. I met her at a video shoot. She was doing a video with a certain videographer, and I was with him, and we pulled up. And I was watching her, and I was like, oh yeah, she cold. And then the DJ that I was managing at the time was like, hey, it's this artist that I think we need to jump on, Lyric. And I'm like, okay, well, put her in tune. Like, let's put her in tune. When we come to find out it was the same person, it was Tink. So when I met her, she was just super talented. She was rapping, she was singing, she was so full of life. You know what I'm saying? So full of life. And she's the same type of person now. You know what I'm saying? So full of life. We haven't talked in years, but just, you know, kind of what I see on Instagram, like that you can never take the talent away from that girl. Like, amazing talent, beautiful voice. Her pen game is insane. You know what I'm saying? Her ear in the studio is completely different than I think I've ever seen before. So, yeah, she was amazing. So it took off. It literally took off.
But I think that also speaks to you though, as just as much, right? Because I think Tink doesn't get, in my opinion, she doesn't get enough credit for really kind of shifting the scene. Because it was definitely a lot of drill. I think Chance and Vic Mensa, they weren't just as known yet. Yeah. So like Tink momentum and her getting motion even before Timbaland, it was a lot of eyes on her, but I think it was because she was coming off seeing R&B.
We were beating the ground up. At that particular time, we were dropping singles. And her fan base was just growing. So it was like, okay, we're gonna drop a single, we're gonna drop a single, we're gonna drop a single. And the plus that we had was we had a videographer on the team. So, okay, so if you drop a single, you can drop a video. If you drop a single, we can drop a video. And the thing was that Tink never had to worry about getting in the studio because she had a studio in the basement of her house. So nobody knew she was doing engineering, you know, unless she had to go to another studio to do more work.
That's great.
But she was doing all of her stuff by herself. And then she would shoot me the record over. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you sound like, what the fuck? How did you even come up with this? And she put everybody in their feelings when it came to records. Because it was like, I just went through this shit with a nigga. Like, make another song that's gonna implement how I feel. So she was killing at the time. And then her double-edged sword was she could rap.
Yeah. Like,
so the rapping,
then
when we started really, really working and we were grinding, then the radio station started calling. The issue was always, okay, what genre or music are we going with? So they were trying to like, okay, is she a better singer? Is she a better rapper? So that's when all of the blogs started picking up. They were going back and forth. We were trying to figure out like what was best for her to do. But for me, it was just like, do what you want to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she kind of like put the rapping to the side and she was doing the singing. But to me, she always reminded me of my sister, which is Shauna, because nobody knows that Shauna can sing. We went to high school together.
Just let us go to jail.
And she probably would beat me up right now for even saying that. But Shauna is an amazing singer. We used to sing in her basement all the time. But she took the rapping, and you already know Shauna is like it's hands down the best in the industry to me. But then we went then Tink came. Tink did the singing. So I felt like at that particular time, you were being pushed into like, okay, you gotta do this for radio, you gotta do this because radio was heavy at the time. The internet really wasn't as big, but the internet was big for YouTube.
Sure.
So it was killing YouTube on that.
So do you think the industry back then was very much so kind of doing what it's doing now as far as like kind of dictating?
It tried to dictate, but we forced everybody's hand. I was always the person on like, we're gonna do what's best for you.
That's how I felt back then.
We're gonna do what's best for you. I never conformed to like, okay, even though I was having label meetings and this is what they were telling me that we should do, it was more so like, they're coming to me and telling me, they're in my ear telling me what to do, but as the artist that's in front of me, I'm telling them do what you want to do. Because clearly they calling me already. So we gonna do what we want to do, and then we're gonna force their hand. So when it came to like the radio aspect of it, we kind of like always would get the radio interviews because I would always get the calls like, okay, well, give us the song because we know we're going between Power and we're going between GCI, so it's like a war. So they always hit me like, Lyric, give me that song first, give me that song first, give me that song first. And for me, at that particular time, I had Dirk, I had Tink, I had so many people that were under my management hub that it was like, I'm gonna just keep playing between both of y'all because I'm gonna force y'all motherfuckers to fuck with all of my clients. I'm gonna make y'all fuck with them because their music is just too good. And then like I just kept getting clients and kept getting clients. And I think like now that I think about it, it was because I like, do what you wanna do.
I'm so glad you spoke on that, because I feel like that set the stage for Raven Lene. And Raven Lene is completely different than Tink.
So when I got Raven off of a referral too. And Raven, I started off with management with her, and she's signed to me now. So she's still signed to 323 Music Group / Atlantic. And the thing with Raven was when somebody referred her to me, I cannot remember who referred me, so forgive me, but they sent me this song, Greetings. That was her first song. And when they first sent it to me, I was like, I don't want to manage any other art. I don't want any other artists because it was so much going on at that particular time, and I was so busy. I had just moved to Atlanta. We were cracking these videos. It was just so much going on, and at that particular time, I was like, her sound was so different that I was scared of it. I was scared of it because I just felt like it was like a Solange type of, like a Willow.
And this was before Willow or Solange.
Yeah, this was before it. So it was like, when they sent it to me, they was like, sit with it, Lyric, because you got the ear. And I'm like, okay, let me sit with it. I think I sat with it for like a week. And then the person called me back. I said, set the meeting up. I'm gonna fly to Chicago.
So that's insane because again, with Raven Lene and Tink being who they were, their sounds elevated Chicago. Because when Raven Lene, especially when she started building with Monty Booker,
there was never another sound like Raven. Like Raven and Monty had this different aesthetic of what they had, and at that time, like there was no anybody
like
else.
Smino was in that bag, but
he
like
wasn't
as far as
and
he's from St. Louis,
he really wasn't there yet. So Raven just had this pure, like water, like he just had like this walking in the grass type of sound, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna use the connections that I have, and I'm gonna just see. But I'm gonna grassroot her like I grassroot everybody else. So drop a single. She had already dropped Greetings. Greetings was doing good. So then she came behind that, and we dropped. I can't remember the music at this. That's years ago.
Yeah.
She dropped another single. Then she dropped another. So I was like, okay, single. So the same stuff that I did with Dirk, the same stuff that I did with Tink. It was like drop a single. Well, hell, we gonna do the same thing over here. She had already dropped her single. I wasn't a part of that at all. But then the next one came, and it was different sounds. And I remember asking her one time, like, what in the fuck are you singing about? Like, what is? And she was like, I don't know. She was like, this shit just sounds good. Like, it do sound amazing, but it was like, that was the era of like, okay, we gonna make this make sense. As soon as that started happening, here come the labels. And it took some months because I think when you hear an artist and you really don't know what they singing about, but they shit just sound like so amazing and so pure, and she was cute, and she had this red hair, and she was just like this vibrant ass person. It was like, okay, well, we gonna go with it, you know what I'm saying? So we started going with it, and I started getting calls, started getting blogs. She was in every blog. She was doing this, she was doing that. We're in New York, we're in LA, we're at YouTube, we're everywhere. And then we do this show at House of Blues. Atlantic calls. She signs, you know what I'm saying? And for me, for that particular situation, like, she was a minor at the time, so her mother was definitely a part of a lot of her, it has to be a part of a lot of her situation. For that particular situation, I really don't feel like I would have signed as quickly, you know what I'm saying, just because she was the only person in her category. And because she was the only person in her category, so much more could have been done versus, you know, what was being done. But I think at that particular time, then now you have Chance is blowing up, he's doing his stuff. And it's a dog eat dog world out here. That's what people have to understand. I always would get hit with like, you know, people trying to come behind my back and talk to my clients and be like, oh, okay, well, you know, Lyric isn't doing enough, so you need to come over here and you need to come over there. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, if I'm not doing enough, then why you over here? You only coming because of the work that I fucking put in. So now all of a sudden I'm not doing enough.
But also because of who you are. Because again, going back to my original point, again, when I heard of your name, I was doing the Lyrical lab back then. So like even that was interesting because again, I'm looking up like, oh man, she was an artist and like she's been around all of these real heavy hitting folks, but you in your own lane. And so just like you were saying, like I was hearing stories about like you were saying, like people kind of having like, you know, do you want to go to this person or that person? But you always stay calm.
You know what's crazy is because this industry has hurt me a lot. Like, listen, it was one particular situation where I was done. Like I was over it, done. And I had came back to Chicago. I was actually living in Chicago at the time, but I came back off of a business trip and I was done. When I tell you I was done, like I was done. Like I fucked this shit. Like y'all got it. I put too much work in the game. I had done too much. I was known at this point, like damn near all over the world in certain situations. And it was like, and for good things, you know what I'm saying? But it was like this one situation that just like gutted the fuck out of me. And I will never forget that my doorbell rang and it was Dirk. And he was like, you look like shit. And I'm like, yeah, like, and he was like, get up. He literally walked from my mother's house. And it's so crazy because there was just a blog that just posted him and Kamari and some other people playing basketball. I'm like, that's how deep me and Dirk go all the way back. But he had came in the house and he was like, I heard what the fuck happened. And he was like, man, get up. He was like, I love you, you my sister, get the fuck up. Like, get up. And I was just like, I'm not doing this shit no more. And he was like, you finna do, like, no, you're gonna do it and you're gonna be okay, but get the fuck up. And I remember just sitting there like crying, you know. And me and him at that particular time, we weren't working together anymore because I stepped away from Dirk's situation off of some street shit. It was better for me to just be a sister and be the godmother to Bella and Angelo, be a sister to Nicole, who was their mother or whatever, versus me being in management with him. It was just like, let me just be the sister. I'm still always gonna be affiliated. And years after that, we wound up working together with the band that he had. But he literally had walked in that house and was like, get up. I was done. Chicago had got me. I was like, I cannot deal with the devil. Like I literally saw the devil in like right here in my face, and I was like, I can't do this shit no more. You know what I'm saying? But the conversation that particular man gave me is the only reason that I kept going. Besides my kids, besides it was like, nah, fuck this. Let me get up. Now let me get up. You know what I'm saying? Because if I stay down, I'm defeated. And that's what the fuck is up. That's what it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to be off of this game, but contrary to what everybody thought, they thought that was gonna take me out, and it didn't. And I actually excelled like 2 weeks later.
Man. So, and you can speak to this how much as you want, but like I think people really don't. Outside of drill, I think people don't be understanding how much the streets are involved in the music and the organizing community here, right? Like it's very connected, but it's not in a way where like, I think if you look at like a Atlanta or a Cali, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like you got real gangbangers, like in the, like, no, it's a little more subtle than that. And I think you've always had a privilege of being able to be in the boardrooms, but like, real hood guys in the street are like, no, that's Lyric. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can make a call. And with that situation, like I said, that particular situation that I'm talking about with Dirk, when he came to my mom's house and we sat down and talked, I got a lot of calls after that from street niggas that had heard what was going on, and they called me and was like, you our sister, we see what the fuck you been doing, and if you need anything from us, we got you. Niggas that I can still call to this day. What's crazy is when I went through the situation with Dirk on some street shit, it was two particular people over there that really tried to get down on me. Not on some like street shit, but just on some like snatching dirt. You know what I'm saying? And when the situation happened that I'm speaking on, they actually one of them winded up calling me and apologizing for the shit that they tried with Dirk, because it was like, I know what you've been doing, and you know, we was just greedy. You know, it's like whatever it was, but it was like, you a woman at the end of the fucking day, and we know what the fuck you doing, and we see you putting on for Chicago, so like, that shit ain't finna fly. You good, you know, but it was just more so like, you know what, I'm a woman that came from corporate America. I did not ask to be in this shit. I am not trying to come in here and just like gangster people money or just gangster people music and just take people and just, why? Because this is y'all shit at the end of the day. I'm only here to enhance your stuff, but y'all behind the scenes do not know that I had several people coming at me. I had several people coming at my artists, and artists folded. You know what I'm saying? They folded, and it was just like, all right, well maybe that's why your career ain't elevate the way it needs to elevate.
So that part, and I think because of the efforts you've had, you going along all this time, your efforts, you definitely are part of this new wave in Chicago where like you've always practiced good business, but like your good business is being just as talked about as the artists themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's something to speak on, because like you're saying, like the blog era, especially in Chicago, like business, like doing good business was not a known thing.
It wasn't, and people tried to make it seem like I did bad business. I've heard that so many times in my career, and it was just like, oh, Lyric be taking people money, or Lyric be doing this, and Lyric be doing that. And I'll just be like, first of all, bitch, I came from money. Like that, let's talk about that. I came from fucking money. Before this music even came, I come from it. So like, I'm not trying to get over on no fucking body. What it is that y'all see me putting in this work. Y'all see me doing all of this shit for these clients. Y'all, these motherfuckers be with me 24/7. And as soon as they get to a certain level, now y'all want to come up behind me and say what I'm not doing and get in their ear and start doing all this other shit. I'm not the motherfucker signing people for $10,000. I'm not the motherfucker taking people to the bank and taking their fucking publishing 100%. I'm around here trying to explain, go get an attorney, learn how to do your business, do this, go to school, read this, try to understand like what's going on. But I'm the grimy person though. But if I'm so fucking grimy, then why the fuck do I keep getting all these clients? Why am I in all of these blogs? Why am I getting interviews several times? Why has my career went from here to here where I'm managing A-listers and I'm in these rooms and I'm at these amphitheaters. I ain't in no fucking lounges. I'm not in no clubs performing no more. You can't even get to me no more. So if I'm so much of like this tormented ass motherfucking person, and why does God keep blessing me in front of y'all though? In front of y'all, you know what I'm saying? So I've had the conversations of like when Chance was really picking up and Pat was managing him at the fucking time, and then I had a client come to me talking about, oh well, you know, Pat is trying to manage me. You're not doing the same. You're not doing well enough because I'm not at Pat's level. I'm not at Chance's level, and I'm like,
wait, they said you're not at Chance's level?
They're not at Chance's level. So I'm not doing well enough. The whole time, Pat is in their ear. But then a year later, guess what happens? Mm-hmm. Pat gets fired and gets sued.
And this was before the big
And
day
this
drop.
is before the day, and nobody knew, but I'm already behind the scenes because I'm getting the calls. I'm getting the calls from the label. I'm getting it. So then you go ahead and you call yourself snaking me. So you let Pat manage you. But then I'm getting calls from labels like, we need to fire Pat. So it's like, my biggest thing with people is you can't shit on a child of God. You cannot shit on a child of God I'm a child before I'm anything. I'm a child before I'm a mother. I'm a child before I'm a daughter. I'm a child of God. You know what I'm saying? And I repent every day just like everybody else. But I have always wanted, it is amazing to see where you can get an artist from. I met Dirk in the alley, right? I'm a part of his upbringing, but I'm not the reason. I mean, I would like to say I'm a part of what he's done, but to see him from the alley to fucking to where he is, and to say I had something to do with something, oh, that's amazing. To see Tink be where she was compared to where she is now. I always clap my hands for people that I've done stuff for, because I love them at the end of the day, and I just did my job. So I understand what my assignment is. At that particular time when I was managing, I'm just managing, doing shit. My relationship with God was not as strong as it is now, but now I understand that I'm on assignment. That was your assignment, Lyric. That was your assignment, Lyric. That was your assignment. Freddie is your assignment. Vicky is your assignment. So it's like every single thing that I'm doing now, 20 years later, I've been in the game 20 years. That's a long time to be recognized now, but to be shitted on in the beginning. And I was shitted on because I was coming up. I was the only bitch out here that was really beating the fucking streets up. I was really, and Lauren was a manager at that particular time. She was managing Herb and Bibby. She had stopped managing. But the only person I ever really heard of on the management side from a woman's perspective was me, Lauren. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Then on the PR side, it was always Brianna. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Andrew had Fake Sure Drive, he had the blogs. You know what I'm saying? So it's I was a part of all of that. My artist stayed on Fake Sure Drive. And it wasn't because he was my brother, because he fucked with us. But it was times where I would have artists and their music didn't hit his ear. You know what I'm saying? So it was at that particular time, you just put the work in. It's always been about the music for me. I don't care how fucked up a person you can be. If your music is good, you're gonna win all day. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna win all day. So the era of the drill movement, it was a very dangerous time, but it was so fun as well, because you got to see, you got to hear. So if you appreciate different music, you get to hear different melodies and different attributes of everything that actually made the music scene just amazing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm proud of every single, even the motherfuckers that fucked me, that was a part of their story. That's just what they was doing. That's just the seeds that they felt like they were planted, but them seeds never got planted, because I got the fuck up and I kept going and I kept going. And I did the best that I could. And yeah.
Whew. So fast forward to, I'm gonna say about going on 2-3 years ago now, right? I already knew that you were managing Vicky Street, but again, the people that you're managing now, a lot of your artists you're managing now is again leading the new wave in Chicago. So again, Ashley Banks, China Sade, Vicky Street, Freddie Oso, and all of these artists have different, I dare say, just sounds, but also just stories, right? So you have Freddie Oso, who's a real MC, but she's from the hundreds. And I don't know a lot of MCs, especially black women that are from the hundreds. You got Vicky Street, who was not just a journalist and has her own show, but she's also an MC. You also have her doing fashion. You know what I'm saying? You have all of your artists, and I'm only naming a couple, but all the artists you're building with right now, I dare say they're doing not just the music, but they're also doing things in community as well. Even you yourself, you just had a whole mother circle, I dare say, for mothers that are artists at the Soho House. Yeah. Thanks to yourself and 3B Agency. Yeah. Where's your head at now, current day? Because what you're doing is really paving the future. And again, you're building with powerful black women that, again, have been in this scene for years. Freddie Oso has been in this scene for years, building with Mick Jenkins and Vic Spencer and all of these other heavyweights, and people know who she is, but it was I feel
like people know who Freddie is, but people don't know. And I'm on that. You gonna know who she is. That's how I was about Tink.
So explain to us Because I was obviously there the night you opened yourself up to managing
The
her.
thing is that somebody mentioned Freddie to me a couple of times before that particular night had even happened. And I was like, okay, because every time somebody brings somebody to me, I always wind up saying no first. Before I even and it's like, no, I'm just, because I'm always impacted by so much shit that I already have going on. So I was like, okay, let me see. So people kept sending me her freestyles, kept sending me her stuff, and I was like, damn, it's just something about her. Keep in mind, every time I go into a situation, I always doubt myself. All the time, because I always feel like, I don't know, you know what I mean? I just don't know. It is very, 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 very fucking hard to work with female artists. Very. I'm honest about that shit. It is very. Very.
We know.
Very.
No, we know. But you made it.
But let me tell you why it looks so effortless.
Yeah.
Because I pray about it first. And because all of the situations that I've had in my past, for some reason God keeps bringing them to my future. So clearly, this is what you want me to do. So I'd be like, all right, shit, here we go again. So when I finally saw Freddie and I had that conversation with her, and it was just like, that wasn't me, that was God. That was not me that night. That was all God. On my right hand, that was all God. Because I wasn't confident in doing anything else with another female artist. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is about management, if you're passionate about management, you have to understand that they're looking for direction from you. And you might not always have the right direction that's gonna formulate to what their goals are. So you gotta deal with people thinking that they know shit, and then you gotta come over here and then deal with how I do things. So sometimes that's not fair to them, but I'm already kind of set in my ways because it's worked several times. It worked for Dirk. It worked for Tink. It worked for Raven. It works for Ashley. And I don't manage Ashley. That's my daughter. She has her own situation. But it works for drop this single, drop this single, drop this single, drop a visual, drop a visual, drop a visual. They're coming. If you got good music, they're coming. But everybody doesn't believe in the systematic approach that I do. Now, why don't you? Because I've showed you results several times. But I get it. You human. You want to do shit your own way. So that's why I was kind of hesitant when it came to any females, not just Freddie. So when I got her, it was so fucking refreshing. But what got me was that she had kids. And I never had worked with a woman as an artist that had kids.
Up until that point?
I worked with them, but not this deep. You know what I'm saying? So she had babies, fresh babies. She was pregnant. So it was like, all right, let me pray about it and let me think about it. And then fuck it, let's go ahead and do it. So then once I started, and I had a team, so it was like, okay, once I started getting to know her and growing with her, it just made me appreciate her as a mother and understand that this motherfucker out here doing the same shit I'm doing. Like, she wants the best for her kids. It wasn't even about her. It was like, okay, it's about those babies. So let's try to figure out how to make sense of everything. And then I see so many people wanting her to win. It's like, oh, okay, baby, come on, we finna win. I don't care what winning looks like, we finna win. Now, winning could be like, okay, you just performing at a whole bunch of shit in Wicker Park, or you could be doing exactly what you're doing now, which is going on tour and performing in front of Naughty by Nature. Like, she's performing in front of Naughty by Nature Wednesday, like getting her to certain stuff that it's like, okay, we've been rocking for 2 years. I mean, that shit was 2 years ago.
Yep.
And look how much further she has come since me and her have been working just with like, okay, we're gonna do it this way, you know, and we're doing it her way and my way. It's not just my way. We're doing it both of our ways because like I said, I'm understanding because I grew in this business as well, and you have to remain teachable. This shit ain't just always just gonna go because of how I say it's gonna go. It works for different people. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that fucks everything up is that Freddie has amazing fucking music. So because her music is so vital and is so needed, it has taken me back into underground hip hop. I was never in underground hip hop, but I was around it in the intervention days when God was over there. So I remember, like, okay, I've heard this before, but she's a woman. All right, so shit, like, this is fun. This is new. You from the hundreds. Like, you really from the hundreds, and you really, really do this shit, and you have this aura about yourself, and then on top of that, she's just a woman of God, and she's her mental, because I think she's a mom, a young mom, it's like, I want you to win. We finna win. Like, I don't care how we finna win, but now she's getting shows booked in Iowa. Now she's getting, you know, but it takes, I feel like for me, God just makes me be available for people to make them believe in themselves.
So, I want to go to the last album she dropped, right? Mm. Because, again, like you said, this was 2 years ago. Yeah, and again, the Chicago music scene since 2020 has been pretty much rebranding itself, reinventing itself. Because a lot of gatekeepers got called down in 2020. A lot of, I dare say, people that was just taking up space in a harmful way were taking up space, and we're just present. But like 2020 kind of like cleared the board, and so artists were putting things out, like Mother Nature. But when Freddie dropped Water, Music, and Love, I think it put a criteria on what was to come, not just from a black woman, but from Chicago hip hop. I feel like since you've been building with Freddie, I feel like the conversation about Chicago hip hop and women MCs in particular has been a very popular conversation.
Crazy? Like, I feel like I don't really know how I don't know how to put this into words. I feel like how people call me like this legend, or how people be so excited to meet me, or how people like will say like, oh my God, that's Lyrical. And I've gotten that my whole career, right? But like now, I feel like it's like a big hug all the time. I feel like I'm so appreciated because people are looking at this one particular artist named Freddie O's song. And I've had more people in my ear about, oh, I know she finna win because she got Lyric. You know, people will tell me that, like, she finna win because she got you. And I be like, no, she gonna win because she got herself. And we a team. We know we together. But I do realize how influential I am now. And I feel like I was so hurt and so distraught. Like, Atlanta was my tuck away place. Like, that was my place I go to. Like, I worked, I come back and forth and work here and do what I gotta do and travel all around the world. But I felt like now I'm getting this big appreciative hug, and it's crazy that it's coming from underground hip hop. It's crazy. Like, the very first song that I ever heard in hip hop was Bonita Applebum, and it's like making me remember like what I used to love about music in high school, because I was a hip hop head in high school, a hip hop and a house head. So to have her is just, it does more for me than what people actually think, because she sews into me. Probably, we sew into each other, but she doesn't know what she does for me. She doesn't understand like what she really is like putting into my soul, because she's a mommy too. You know what I mean? So I appreciate like her struggle, because I see it and I understand it, and I'm right there with her, like encouraging her. And she'll always tell me like, you do not, like, it's not fair to this. She'll tell me stuff, and she'll be like, it's not fair that you don't feel as appreciated as you are though, Lyric. Like, you are really appreciated and whatever. So, and I think a lot of my clients do that. You know what I'm saying? Like Vicky, she's talked to me before and was like, she'll always tell me she loves me first. How you doing? That's her. Before we have any conversation about anything, how you doing? Like, you can come talk to me, even if I won't, but you can come talk to me. It's an open door policy. You can do this, you can do that. So I think that my value now is more appreciated for me, because I think that people look at managers as disposable objects. And once you get to a certain level, I don't need you no more. I got it. I figured it out. I'm here to do a job, which is to cultivate your art with you and get people to listen to it. My Instagram alone is probably worth $10 million. You know how many artists is on my Instagram? I have 13,000 pictures, which is 13,000 things that I've done in the industry over 20 years. You know how many label reps and labels follow me and come to me in my DMs saying, who you got now? Who you got now? Oh, your son doing music now? Oh, who is this little nigga you got in Baltimore? Oh, you working with Tank's band now? Oh, you was out with Monica's band? It's like now the conversation is shifted, and my Rolodex of people that I can just get in contact with is insane. Like I can damn near I know you always are 4 people away from the person that you really want to speak to. I have a whole music exec chat with some of the top people in the industry in my phone, and we talk all the time. I was like one of the top moderators in Clubhouse with people that I never, ever thought would ever know my name.
Man, so I think this leads me to my last question, which is, again, just everything you've been doing for the future on the manager side with your work, right? Because you've been doing a lot of different programs where you're teaching people who want to be managers, like exactly what they're getting into. You're teaching people how to get their credit game up. So it's like, you know, not even just as an artist, but as an individual.
Just as a person,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, what's been that process like? Because again, you're really putting people in the game of, even if they don't want to be a manager or they don't want to keep doing that.
I just want people to be better in life.
Yeah.
I just want people to be better in life. Just be better in life. Because we come from a fucked up ass world. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you weren't raised, you 9 times out of 10 are probably a fucked up ass person. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say it that harsh, but like, there's some people out here that just have heartless ways. And then they look back and be like, they're trying to figure out why are they in the situation they're in, or why is their situation not moving, or why they don't have friends, or whatever it is. It's just, my daddy has always told me, like, stay in the light. Always treat people the way that you want to be treated. People will treat strangers better than they treat their family. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like when you get into this industry, it's so small. That's your family. Treat them correctly, because you never know when you're gonna need them. And sometimes you burn a bridge that you can't even get back over, and you wish you could pick up the phone and get in contact with somebody. And I'm thankful that I've never had that problem. Like, I was just thinking the other day, like, there are so many people that have been in my life that can never pick up the phone and call me no more. And I'm okay with that, because I know I did them right from inception, from the time that we met to the time that God figured out, like, yep, shift. So I just feel like I just want people to be right. I want people to be financially right. I want people to have lucrative situations. I want people to find a business inside of the music business. I want people to offer services after you have taught. Like, if you're a writer, right, and you're an artist, but you're also a phenomenal writer, have a writing session. Extend your services. If you're an engineer, have an engineering sessions with upcoming engineers. If you are a manager and you know it's certain things that you know other managers don't have a management class. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, extend what blessed you so that you can go further. So outside of like everything that I'm doing, like, I opened up a daycare for babies. Literally, like, my mind is so focused on making sure that I'm okay, because for years I've always made sure that other people are okay. That my focus right now is literally on myself, my children, my family, and if my clients are my family. You know what I'm saying? My business partners are my family. They're business partners, and there's some that you just keep as business partners or whatever. But the focus is so vast right now that it's vast in a way that you cannot get to me though, if that makes sense. You get what I'm saying? Like if that makes sense. But I just want people to be okay, because the way that this world is going, just like the internet shut down a couple days ago, what happens if the internet really shut down? What y'all gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If that's the only way that you get your money, what you gonna do? If that's the only way that you communicate with people, what are you gonna do? Do you not have any genuine relationships out here? If the phones just cut off the other day, I was a part of that $5 bullshit. And I paid my whole bill, right? But like, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Like, you have to look at life like, what are you going to do if this does not work? And I think people treat it as like, people treat people like shit because they feel like they're on the up and up, but everything comes crashing down sometimes. And if you don't have a relationship with God, and you don't have a genuine relationship with people, there's nobody gonna be able to check it. Nobody's gonna come check on you. You're gonna grow up, you're gonna be very lonely, you're gonna be very alone. So for me, I've just always just lived my life in peace and just being kind, because you just never know. And I feel like in Chicago, we've lost so many people to the hand of somebody else that did not have love, that did not have affection in their heart, that didn't have these type of open dialogue, conversations, that didn't have goals implemented in them. Like I'm always trying to sow a seed, because I feel like for me, I'm always trying to save one soul a day. I don't care what I'm doing, you're gonna know about God through me today or something, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna encourage a kid, or I'm gonna encourage one of my son's friends, or I'm gonna encourage my daughter's friend, or whatever it is. But this life is too unpredictable for you not to just be a good person. Just not to be a good person. And when you are good people, we do get shitted on a lot. And that's okay. Learning how to be okay with that. That's a process, so Chicago shaped the fuck out of me. They shaped me, and I'm appreciative of it. The feature with Raven.
That's hilarious, considering I called Fredo Santana on some like, she be hit, her bars be hit that.
Punchline, yeah.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Can you speak to that? Like, that's actually, the world needs that. The world would have benefited from a Fredo Santana Raven Lenae like collaboration.
At that particular time, Raven was young, and it's like hard to like. Fredo had called us, me and this person in Atlanta, and he was like, "Man, who is that girl y'all be promoting?" And I was like, "Raven." And Fredo was like, and we're talking about Fredo Santana, and he was like, that was like a brother to me. And I was like, "You like that? Like you like?" He was like, "Hell yeah! Send me something, I'll jump on it." And what's crazy is after that, we had got a call from Montana 300. He liked her. So I knew at that particular time, like, oh, okay, we on something. Because if the street niggas is like in this type of shit, that's bringing them peace. Because of course, that's giving them smoking music. You know what I'm saying? So the drill era was so appreciated because I worked with Maddie Baby, who was Keith's cousin. Drill was just, the music was just, that like it was drill music. And what's crazy is everybody was contacting us at the time, and this is off of Raven going towards Tink and Dirk. So we had the people from London, we had China, we had Asia, we had Barbados, I had so many contacts and connections of people just trying to understand like what was going on in Chicago, and they just wanted to be a part of it. And then the fact of like we were in all the blogs, and then when we finally met Timberland, and he was like, "Lyrical, what the fuck are you? Are you a label? What are you?" Because it's like, are you the one that behind all of this? And I'm like, yeah, I am. Like, we were just working. Like, we weren't thinking about like, it's like, oh, okay, somebody contacted you from London. That's dope. Okay, but we still working. And then the Kardashians had like jumped on playing Treat Me Like Somebody. I think it was a Snapchat at that particular time. Wow. So it was like, and I remember we were literally in a hotel room, and Tink was like, "Lyrical, the Kardashians just, they was like singing this her shit, and I was like, oh shit. Okay. But at that particular time, it was cool. Just like we was still working. It was like that was normal. It became normal because, like I said, your music is undeniably so good, and it puts people in their feelings, and that's the same with the drill. That's the same thing that Dirk was doing. It was like he was putting people in his in their feelings. That's the same shit Keith was doing. Same shit Fredo was doing. Same shit Ball Out was doing. Same shit SD was doing. I managed SD for a period of time. Me and Chop was super, super, super cool. So like watching them transform this like piece of dough into a massive bread factory.
It's funny you say that because people like academics, he was combating someone because he's known for talking more about the violence. Definitely a troll, right?
He just wants to be so Chicago.
But see, here's the thing, right? Because like someone had brought up the concept about blues music when it was originally like hitting the world, and they were talking about how the world really didn't receive blues music, but they kept stealing inspiration from it, right? And so that very much so like drill. It's like even because even back then blues music had a certain level of violence to it. It was only because of the environment, which was Chicago. Yeah. So it's like with drill, it was the same thing, but again, the impact. It kept influencing the world.
This is what I don't understand about people. Like, and people can say whatever they want about R. Kelly. I get it. Okay. I'm an R. Kelly, but we're from Chicago. Like, we're here. We were born into this. Everybody outside of this wants a piece of this. So it used to pick. I've gotten into it with Whack 100 before. I've had words with academics before. Because y'all niggas just want to be so Chicago. Y'all have so much to say, but y'all was the same motherfuckers who was bobbing their heads in their cars, in their cities, in their states, trying to figure out, damn, them niggas from Chicago got something going on. Blues music we have, jazz music we have, R&B we have, rap we have, poetry we have. I started off in poetry. Bands we have. Brands we have every food we have, clothes we have. Every single thing comes from here. And I'm not saying like in just all parts of the world. Like Atlanta has certain stuff that comes from there. New York has certain stuff. But when people come to Chicago and when people come at Chicago and try to act like they're a part of it, like I used to get interviews all the time, and I used to turn them down too because people in London would want to interview me about how we didn't start to drill me. What? How? So,
oh my God.
How? Y'all doing the same shit. Got 50 niggas in the streets, all like this, in front of a camera.
That is
with dreads. Wait a minute, with dreads. But y'all saw it first with us. But
that is crazy because drill wasn't even a word when the music was coming out. They didn't know what to call it.
There is no London.
It just started to become called drill music.
No London.
It wasn't even originally called drill.
It wasn't.
That's crazy.
Drill without Chicago.
Yeah, but there's no drill. There's no drill shit without Louis. Without King Louis. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like so if you don't really know the basis of stuff, and when they started giving it the definition of, okay, this is the genre of music of drill, that was created from a Chicago nigga. Yep. And then it took over when everybody became a part of it, when Keith, when Dirk, Louis, when all of them became like this collaborative effort of everything. We got a genre out of it, kind of, sort of, right?
No, it's definitely
but now all of a sudden, y'all in London, and y'all figure like, no, we created it.
Oh no, I did an interview last year where I literally spoke on how there would be no Pop Smoke or Ice Slice without drill, and people tried to challenge me, but it's like again, like you just said it yourself, like King Louis, Young Chop, like these are the pioneers of the genre.
And that's what I feel like. I feel like with London, like with all of the overseas branches, nobody ever gave Louis his props. Nobody ever gave Louis his props. And I managed Dirk. But Louis, like, you cannot forget about, regardless of whatever was going on, you gotta give just due to the person, to that person. You get what I'm saying? So when I hear about like in Frank and I hear about all this other shit, I just be like, I'm just proud that I was a part of it. You know what I mean? I was one of the managers of it. I know exactly what it was about, but y'all can take it and act like it's nothing. Academics always talks shit about something, but then you never can bring your ass here and talk.
It's always the violence. He speaks always.
It's always
the
he
violence.
speaks about the negative, but y'all are so much fans of ours though. So it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that was always my thing about, and I mean, honest, I think like most people, I know a little bit about bro before the situation with Vic Mensa, but it was always a thing of, I knew who he was 10 years ago when he was just constantly always reporting on the violence, but I always felt that drill was so necessary because I already knew about Raven Lene and Freddie O, so I always knew there was a balance. And so it was like, when you thought about drill music, I literally thought about trap music. You know what I'm saying? How like because trap music
so
existed,
Raven was never drill. Raven
definitely not.
But Raven
definitely
was just managed by a manager that was.
But that says so much because it's like I don't think when people think about the OGs or just the people in Chicago that have really shaken things up, the reason why Raven Lene did what she did, obviously was because of herself, but it was because a person like yourself that is very, you know what I'm saying, but also like your ability to be like versed in these different worlds. Like you said, like Raven had a different type of neo soul
Raven had
R&B.
a different type of like sound.
Yeah.
It was like I'll never forget one day we were, I forgot where I was, and she had called me, she had sent me a video of a bird, right? And this is when I knew she was like super, super special. And she was like, this bird is making music. So she's like, listen to the lyrics. I'm listening. And I'm like hearing exactly what she's hearing. But then Raven also saw music in colors. So once I could formulate, like when I hear music, I see colors. I never knew what that was about, but I just knew because I grew up in music, before music, you know what I'm saying? So it was like she was just this special, articulate person that could put her music and her sound into, not always knowing what she was singing about, the shit just sound good and we just put it on a file and put the file out and now it's a song. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like with me, I've just always known what a star looks like. A star is not the loudest person. A star is not the person that's rapping and singing. A star is that person that's over there in that chair that's quiet as hell, that does not know what they possess really until somebody like a me or like a you will be like, nah, you're special, you got something, you know what I'm saying? So the drill era was the same exact way. You had your niggas that was just coming up yelling, screaming or whatever, but then you had your niggas like Keith that was like, he could catch the beat like a different way. He said what he said. Dirk is just a complete musician. He's an instrument. Dirk is an instrument. Raven is an instrument. Tink is an instrument. Louis was an instrument. Anybody that could put dancing with music, with everything, you know what I mean? At that particular time, it was like unheard of because before us, in the whole system with music, it was just kind of like fizzle, and it wasn't anything that was really creative that was like gravitating to people. Because then you had like your Carl Thomases, you had your R. Kellys, you had your oh my God, who was the other guy? You had so many people that were in music, but now you got young people that's like coming up and doing stuff. Festivals are getting created. It's not just about Caucasian people anymore. It's like now we in the door, you know, we getting booked and we getting stuff. So I feel like the tenure that I've actually had in the game, I've seen it from all areas. I've seen it from all lines. And that's why I'm so stern on certain stuff, like just follow the process. Follow the process, finish the process. Be kind during the process. Don't just be doing stuff to be doing stuff, because it always shows, and when it always shows, then it's always an issue. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, the music scene in Chicago, but I just hate when people talk about that's not from here. That shit
eats me up. The transplants.
I hate that. Yeah, like the transplants. Like I don't like that. You can't talk about shit that you're not about.
The people from outside of the country.
Yeah.
Like Trap Lord Ross created his whole YouTube career talking about American gang violence. He's in Australia. He's not even in the same time zone.
They're probably rich.
Oh yeah.
Off of us.
Him and Eddie Dose are on tour.
Mm-hmm. Another good person that was like heavily in music at that particular time was Chinchilla Meek.
Yeah.
But now it's Meek, now it's Shamika, that's my sister. But she was like super influential in music as well. Super influential. And it's so crazy because she always reminds me of what I've done. Whether she'll send like the clip of him and Kamari playing ball. She tagged me in and she was like, this in front of your mama's house. And it's like we've done so much in this industry as a whole that sometimes you will forget, like, damn, I was a part of it. Damn, I was there. Damn, I remember this when this person got killed. Damn, I remember when this person got signed. I remember why they got signed. I remember who they got signed with. I remember what that damn deal looked like. You know what I mean? So
let me ask you this. This will be my last question.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's more like, what advice would you give? But like, when it comes to individuals that are very much so like yourself, very much so like me, that are like very just deep into the scene, into the history of it, and they're trying to, I dare say, figure out their place. Like, what would you tell them? Like, if they could just live off any bit of advice from you?
In terms of like doing music, or in terms
just
of,
in terms of finding their
music?
Yeah.
So at one point it was about people getting signed, right? Then at one point it was about people not wanting to give up their masters. And then at one point people didn't even know what their masters was. And at one point it was like, it's always at one point. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I want you to do what's best for you, right? But understand that you might not know what's best for you. So get around people or search people out, watch people. That's how I feel like. Watch people, watch what they've done, Google them. If you see more good than bad, first of all, understand that when you Google people, you are gonna find bad stuff. That's the narrative from somebody else though. But Google them, see the stuff that they've done, research them out, study them, then approach them and be an intern or do something for your career. That's in anything. If you want to be a dental assistant and you might want to work at this dental office, who's the dentist? Who's the assistants? You know what I'm saying? How do I become this? What school do I need to go to? It's the same thing in music, but be very careful of how you tread the music. Do not burn bridges. Do not be so quick to want to sign to something. Just get to work. If your music is good, you're going to start noticing that you're going to start getting fans. You're going to start noticing that you're going to get interviews. You're going to start noticing that people are sharing your shit. You're going to start noticing that people are trying to get in contact with you. That is how you know that the work that you're putting in is turning into something. And it takes time. It might not happen in a month, and it may not happen in a year, but the worst thing you can do is give up on you. The worst thing you can do is give up on you. No matter how many times I got knocked down, I never gave up. That last time that I felt like it was over with, I had somebody that genuinely loved me tell me to get the fuck up. And I pray that everybody has a person like that to tell them, get up. Don't give up. Keep fighting. Change the narrative. Shift the narrative. Okay, maybe your music hasn't done anything for 8 years. Do you need to go to a different engineer? Do you need to try different production? Stop trying to be so cool with everybody. Everybody in your circle is not going to benefit you because somebody in your circle is not right. I don't care what they say. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that everybody around you is aesthetically pleasing for your brand as well as you being aesthetically pleasing to their brand. It cannot just be about you. And I think that that's where people go wrong because they feel like it's just about them. It's just about me. It's just about me. And you wind up sucking the life out of the people that really want you to fucking win. And now you know where you wasted all this time. So like, just don't give up on you. Figure out a way to make it work. That's how I feel like. Goal, like map it out in goals. 3-month goal, 6-month goal, 9-month goal. I want to be here in 3 months. I want to have this much money. I want to get my credit fixed. I want to learn about credit. I want to buy this car. I want to go to the Dominican Republic. I want to learn how to make shoes. Like whatever it is that you want to do, write it down. Figure out how you can search some people out that might be able to just give you a conversation to show you how to do it, and take some time for yourself. Have peace within yourself. Make sure that you're saying your prayers every morning. Make sure that you're not filling your body with bullshit in terms of what you're eating. That shit matters. I'm in my 40s. What you put in your body matters. I could look like I'm at my age. I don't even look nowhere near my age from what people keep telling me. To me, I feel like it. But people are looking at me like, you that. But I maintain just having like a good origin about myself and around me. That shit matters. Like, and take time off. Take time off to not talk about music at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't talk about nothing about your career sometimes. Like, take a couple days and just clean your space, or just go shopping, or go on the beach, or go for a walk where it doesn't have anything to do with your career, because sometimes we get so engulfed in our career that we wind up forgetting about the person that's doing the career. And it takes too much time. Like, reorganize stuff, like refocus your shit, like whatever it is that you gotta do to get back to the reason why you're doing it. And then on top of that, like, remember that you're on this earth for a purpose. You have to understand what your purpose is. And everybody on this earth, the purpose is to serve. You are supposed to serve the next person with some type of something. So that's the only advice that I could actually give.
That's perfect.
Okay.
I have one last question, but it's optional though. But I was thinking about the name Lyrical. I think you know how I'm going with this, but that's important though, right? Because certain people, you know what I'm saying, especially since we talk about transplants and we talk about people that are being credited for knowing Chicago's music and they don't really know Chicago's music. Lyrical Eye Management, the name Lyrical even, holds a lot of weight. And you and myself have seen people come into this scene and create empires off of that name. So like, and again, speak to whatever you would speak to on it, but like, what was, because I saw those people, I know you saw those people, but you, just like I did, you just kept doing your thing.
And I didn't realize it until somebody brought it to me.
So what were you, what was your thoughts on it?
So, Lyrical came from when I was doing spoken word. So I was given the name Lyrical from another poet that was huge in Chicago at the time. My eyes are hazel, so it was always Lyrical Eyes. And then the management came in, oh shit, I'm doing management. That was my brand at the time. Okay, Lyrical Eyes Management, LEM, right? So years later, maybe 3 years later, no, maybe like 4 years later, somebody was like, you ain't never noticed that your name is Lyrical and that there's another lyrical situation going on? And I'm like, yeah, but I ain't never. And they was like, you ain't never look at the color of the logo? And it was the same color as my logo. And then they was like, you didn't ever look at like how stuff started to shift? Because they was like, you don't think that shit started to shift because people would get confused and just automatically think that you would be a part of that? And I was like, no. I was like, what? They was like, sit and think about that. And it was one of my older artists that contacted me about that. And she was like, I'm just trying to put two and two together. And I was like, damn, that do make sense. But at the same time, it was like, okay, if I'm that influential, okay.
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that, but that shit damn near made sense. Because I remember when we were getting calls from that particular person to do some work, and it wasn't working with me, like particularly, it was working with the production company that I was with. So it made sense. But I don't know, like people, I've heard that a couple of times, and it's just like, be that as it may, it is what it is. I'm blessed to even be brought up in that conversation because I get it a lot. But I'm also super blessed that people fight for me in the spirit realm to come tell me that. They be like, nah, bitch, that's because of you. Even though you don't think that shit is, like, nah, I'm letting you know. you had weight like that. That's because of you. So I just can't, it is what it is.
No, like, because when we created the Lyrical Lab, and then we built with you and Tink, because Tink's interview was one of our first interviews. It was also a trailer. So like when we built with you and I saw that you was rocking with the Lyrical Lab, I was like, okay, like she rocking with us. You know what I'm saying? And then again, because the Lyrical Lab was owned by True Star Magazine, which is owned by 2 black women, I was like, okay, I already know we like that. So when I saw that person, I was like, okay, 9 times out of 10, he probably, like, because me and that person knew each other. We was in the same open mics at Columbia College.
See, I didn't know. I didn't hear.
No, like, that person was very, very on the ground. Like, I remember
I didn't live in Chicago at all.
Not fucking at all. Like, I was at Big Mrs. Internet Tape at the Lacuna Loft back then. Travis Scott was there.
And I stayed in Lacuna. Yeah, we stayed.
And we were and one of my little homies looked at the space and was like, you see these certain stickers? Because we were known for putting up stickers.
Yeah.
That said the Lyrical Lab. So they showed us the stickers. They was like, you see that, like, this kind of, it ain't no coincidence. And so I was kind of like, man, back then I was a little worried at first because I'm like, okay, we just some kids doing this and we just really love our city's music. So it's like, he white, he got money, But I was like, you know what? I just kept looking at who was doing it besides me. And I'm looking at you and I'm like, okay, well, she ain't really, I don't know if she's busy, but she ain't taking the time to
I didn't even know nothing about. I didn't know nothing. I'm telling you, like, until 4 years ago. 4 years ago, when it was bossing my attention, I just was kind of like, no. But then it was like, Lyrical, look at the logos. Like, okay, well, still, like, maybe. Okay, yeah, okay. But it's cool though, because I feel like everybody went in their careers the way that they were supposed to be. And if you had, it's just like the drill scene in London. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got it from us. Will they ever credit us? Will they ever say anything? No, of course. But you kind of know. You know what I mean? We know that y'all doing y'all shit because of the shit that y'all saw in Chicago. So I kind of feel like it's the same exact thing. Now, what I will say is that I did not know. I never thought about, like, at this point, 4 years ago, what is that? Putting me 16 years in the game. At that particular time, I wasn't even thinking nothing of it. But when it was brought up to me more than once by several people, it was like, okay, what can I do? You know what I mean? Like, what can I do now? But hell, I'm proud of him too. Like, I'm proud of everybody that became something from us.
Yep.
Everybody. Because regardless if you have the same money, the same time, the same connections or whatever, like, it's still, we all bounced off of each other, so it's cool. It is what it is. But I held my own for 20 years, so I'm gonna try 20 more years. 20 years.
I think we got it.
We got it?
I think we're good.
Good.
We're
Okay.
good. Real growth in the development.
Yeah.